Eastern Chalukyas, or Chalukyas of Vengi, were a South Indian dynasty whose kingdom was located in the present-day Andhra Pradesh. Their capital was Vengi near Eluru, and the dynasty lasted for around 500 years from the 7th century until c. 1130 CE, when the Vengi kingdom merged with the Chola Empire. The Vengi kingdom was continued to be ruled by Eastern Chalukyan kings under the protection of the Chola Empire until 1189 CE, when the kingdom succumbed to the Hoysalas and the Yadavas. They had the capital originally at Vengi, now near Eluru of the West Godavari district, and later changed to Rajamahendravaram. Eastern Chalukyas were closely related to the Chalukyas of Vatapi. Throughout the history they were the cause of many wars between the more powerful Cholas and Western Chalukyas over the control of the strategic Vengi country. The 5 centuries of the Eastern Chalukya rule of Vengi saw not only the consolidation of this region into a unified whole, but also saw the efflorescence of Telugu culture, literature, poetry and art during the later half of the rule. It can be said to be the golden period of Andhra history. Origin of Eastern Chalukyas. Pulakesan II, the greatest Badami Chalukya king, conquered the eastern Deccan, corresponding to the coastal districts of Andhra Pradesh 616 CE, defeating the remnants of the Vishnu-Kundana Empire. He appointed his brother Vishnuvardhana as viceroy. On the death of Pulakesan II, the Vengi viceroyalty developed into an independent kingdom. Eastern Chalukyas of Vengi outlived the main Vatapi dynasty by many generations. Between 641 CE and 705 CE, some kings, except Jayusimha I and Mangi Yuvaraja, ruled for very short durations. Then followed a period of unrest characterized by family feuds and weak rulers. Meanwhile, the Rashtrakutas of Malk ousted Western Chalukyas of Badami. The weak rulers of Vengi had to meet the challenge of the Rashtrakutas, who overran the kingdom more than once. There was no Eastern Chalukya ruler who could check them until Ganaga Vijayaditya III came to power in 848 CE. The then Rashtrakuta ruler Amorgavarsha treated him as his ally, and after Amorgavarsha's death, Vijayaditya proclaimed independence. Rulers: Vishnuvardhana I, Jayusimha I, Indrabhattaraka, Vishnuvardhana II, Mangi Yuvaraja, Jayusimha II, Kokili, Vishnuvardhana III, Vijayaditya I, Vishnuvardhana IV, Vijayaditya II, Vishnuvardhana V, Vijayaditya III with his 2 brothers, Vikramaditya I and Udamalai Chalukya I, Vijayaditya IV, Amma and Vishnuvardhana I, Vijayaditya V, Tadapa, Vikramaditya II, Chalukya II, Udamala II, Chalukya III and Vishnuvardhana VII, Amma II, Dhananava, Jatachoda Bhima, Saktivarman I, Vimaladitya, Rajaraja I Narendra Vishnuvardhana VIII, Saktivarman II, Vijayaditya VI, Rajaraja II, Virachola Vishnuvardhana IX. Administration. In its early life, the Eastern Chalukya court was essentially a republic of Badami, and as generations passed, local factors gained in strength and the Vengi monarchy developed features of its own. External influences still continued to be present as the Eastern Chalukyas had long and intimate contact, either friendly or hostile, with the Pallavas, the Rashtrakutas, the Cholas and the Chalukyas of Kalyani. Type of government. The Eastern Chalukyan government was a monarchy based on the Hindu philosophy. The inscriptions refer to the traditional 7 components of the state, and the 18 tithas, such as mantri, Purahita, Senapati, Yuvaraja, Dovarika, Pradhana, Adhyaksha and so on. No information is available as to how the work of administration was carried out. The Vishaya and Kotam were the administrative subdivisions known from records. The Kamarashtrana and the Boya Kotams are examples of these. The royal edicts are addressed to all Niyogi Kavalabhas, a general term containing no indication of their duties, as well as to the Gramayakas, the residents of the village granted. The Manyas are also occasionally referred in inscriptions. They held assignments of land and revenue in different villages. Fratricidal wars and foreign invasions frequently disturbed the land. The territory was parceled out into many small principalities held by the nobility, consisting of collateral branches of the ruling house such as those of Elamanchili, Pithapuram and Mudagonda, and a few other families such as the Konohihas, Kolanusaranathas, Chagas, Parachedas, Kotavamsas, Velanadas and Kondapadamatis, closely connected by marriage ties with the eastern Chalukyas and families who were raised to high position for the loyal services. When the Vengi ruler was strong, the nobility paid allegiance and tribute to him, but when the weakness was apparent, they were ready to join hands with the enemies against the royal house. Society. The population in the Vengi country was heterogeneous in character. Shanzang, who travelled in the Andhra country after the establishment of the eastern Chalukya kingdom, noted that the people were of a violent character, were of a dark complexion and were fond of arts. The society was based on hereditary caste system. Even the Buddhists and Jains, who originally disregarded caste, adopted it. Besides the four traditional castes, minor communities like Boyas and Savaras also existed. The Brahmins were held in high esteem in the society. They were proficient in Vedas and Shastras and were given gifts of land and money. They held lucrative posts such as councillors, ministers and members of civil service. They even entered the army, and some of them rose to positions of high command. The Kshatriyas were the ruling class. The love of intrigue and fighting was responsible for civil war for 2 centuries. The Komatas was flourishing trading community. Their organization into a powerful guild which had its headquarters in Penugonda and branches in 17 other centers had its beginnings in this period. It seems there used to be a minister for communal affairs in the government. The Kshatras constituted the bulk of the population and there were several subcastes among them. The army furnished career for most of them and some of them acquired the status of Samantarayu and Mandalika. Religion. Buddhism, which was dominant during the Satavahana's, was in decline. Its monasteries were practically deserted. Due to the love of sacred relics in stupas, a few might have lingered on. Yuan Shawang noticed some 20 or more Buddhist monasteries in which more than 3,000 monks lived. Jainism, unlike Buddhism, continued to enjoy some support from the people. This is evident from the several deserted images in ruined villages all over Andhra. The inscriptions also record the construction of Jain temples and grants of land for the support from the monarchs and the people. The rulers like Kubu Vishnuvardhana III and Amma II patronized Jainism. Vimaladitya even became a declared follower of the doctrine of Mahavira. Vijayawada, Janupadu, Penugonda and Munugodu were the famous Jain centers of the period. Hinduism was the official religion throughout the Chalukya period. Of the Hindu sects, Saivism was more popular than Vaishnavism. Some of the rulers declared themselves as Paramahenswaras. The Buddhist religious centers eventually attained great celebrity as Shiva pilgrim centers. Eastern Chalukya rulers like Vijayaditya II, Uttamalai Vijayaditya III and Bhimarai took active interest in the construction of many temples. The temple establishments like dances and musicians show that during this period, temples were not only a center of religious worship but a fostering ground for fine arts, architecture. Due to the widely spread Shiva devotional cult in the kingdom, the eastern Chalukyan kings undertook construction of temples on a large scale. Vijayaditya II was credited with the construction of 108 temples. Udamala erected a temple to Kartikeya at Vijayawada. Bhima I constructed the famous Draksharama and Chalukya temples. Rajaraja Narendra erected 3 memorial shrines at Kalidandi. The eastern Chalukyas, following the Pallava and Chalukya traditions, developed their own independent style of architecture, which is visible in the Pankarama shrines and Bikavalyu temples. The Galingaswara temple at Bikavalyu contains some richly carved-out sculptures of deities like Arth and Eraswara, Shiva, Vishnu's Agni, Chamundi and Surya.